My God, Tony's a lucky man. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining the call this morning. As you know, it's the 22nd of June. Man, where is the month gone? It's just going and going and going. Hey, I'd like to give a shout out real quickly to Yoko out in Japan, who's on the call today in Japan. Thank you so much for joining us in Japan. Mr. Bill Howard, thank you so much this morning. Ms. Dominique Young, our school teacher up in Nashville. Mr. Harrison Mills, that young man's got over 100 points. Yay! Ms. Heather Perry, thank you so much for joining. Ms. Pat Robinson, Oakland, California. Good seeing you, young lady. Mr. Jenkins, thank you so much. Zoe, part of the bakery organization, thank you. Edmund Smith, thank you so much. Devon Tilperton, what a great job you did over the weekend, young man. Keep it up. Celia, thank you so much. Miss Caroline Baker, part of the bakery organization, thank you for joining us. Mr. Sergio in Mexico. That young man got 6 new people in his organization down in Mexico. So congratulations, Mr. Sergio. Make sure they get qualified, and don't forget to send the numbers to me. You always do. Congratulations, sir. Perfecto. Miss Tracy Gilmore, part of the bakery organization, thank you for joining us. Miss Hayes, thank you so much for joining us. Winston Jonathan Herbert, thank you, sir. Always on there faithfully. And the one and only incomparable, my dear friend, Mr. Brian Baker, Regional Director in Fresno, California. Natalie, dear, good seeing you this morning. Mr. Robinson, thank you so much for joining us. As you know, today is Monday, and all the month of May, we're so blessed, so privileged to have this young lady on. She is an amazing young lady. She was a single mother for many years. She's drop dead gorgeous. She fell in love with a gentleman named Tony, and he saw her, and he went hubba 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 hubba. The rest is all history. They got married. She was in the hair salon business, and they have a construction company, a few other businesses on the side. She also is offering a book right now. I hope we get an autographed copy. She has a beautiful family. She's a grandmother. She also enjoys cooking in her backyard. Her backyard is stunning. It's immaculate. And they have this beautiful pizza oven. I can't wait. And she enjoys various types of wine. And I believe it's Chardonnay she likes more than the Merlots and the Cabs, but I could be wrong. Without further ado, if you're a guest, first time meeting, I just want to give her the proper introduction. Regional Vice President Platinum, Miss Jocelyn Driskill. Can we give her a hand, everybody? Yay!
Good morning.
Morning.
Do you hear me okay?
Absolutely.
So guess where I am? I'm in wine country.
Napa Valley?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. I'm at my mother-in-law's house right now. So we just had a wonderful Father's Day weekend here. So that's why you see a different background. I am somewhere different. So amazing.
Man, it's nice being you.
Right? And I love sparkling wine, champagne. That's my favorite. And then I love red wines or blends of red wine. So that's my favorite.
Okay. Thank you for the update.
Absolutely. But it's all good. It's all good. So good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure and honor to be here today. I hope to bring you, my prayer is that I bring you something really powerful for your soul this week so that you can really have an amazing week ahead. I love that I'm on Mondays. Happy Monday. I call it Magnificent Monday. And today I have prepared a conversation with you about positioned on purpose. So you are positioned on purpose, and your purpose is the position you're in. So I took lots of notes. In fact, I actually had this similar conversation with our Latin America leaders that was translated. And so there were a lot of tears on that leadership call. So it obviously, even though it was translated, it came through because what I have done in my life these last few months, few years, have really looked back at my life. I don't like to go back and live the life that I lived, but I like to go back and reflect, because what I do know is many of us, all of us, would it be fair to say that all of us have gone through something in life that was tragic? All of us have gone through challenges and obstacles in life, right? And sometimes we're like, God, why us, right? How many of you have that moment of like, why me, right? Maybe we've made decisions in our lives that we wish we could change. But what I'm going to tell you is you are who you are because of the things you've gone through. So I want you to embrace every moment that you go through, because there is a reason, and the position that you're in at that time is for the purpose to come to full fruition in the future. And I'm going to share a little bit about some of those challenges and obstacles that I went through back then, that when I look back, I see exactly how he was preparing me in the process. So this is not just purpose on your position is purpose driven, but it's also the preparation in the process. Okay, so there's always a process to everything we do in life. We're never going to be perfect at anything we do, especially like parenting or being a spouse, because we're not perfect. But I look back on my life. So before I go further, I want all of you to write down on a piece of paper, who am I? Who am I meant to be? So I want you to write, I am, and whatever that is. I am, and it could be more than one thing. I am. I'm giving you a second or two to write something down, whether it's one thing or multiple things. Like I will say, I am a queen of the kingdom of entrepreneurs. It needs to be strong. I want you to really be strong with who you say you are. Now, I'm going to come from a God perspective because that's who I am, and I have to be authentic to myself. So is that okay for everybody? Because I know whose I am, that's how I can say something strong like that. And I want you to start speaking life into you, speaking life over you, because if you can speak life over you, then you can speak life over other people and create such a bigger synergy for what's going to happen in your purpose. So when I look back at my life, so maybe I can take a journey with, you can all take a journey with me. Today I am a regional vice president in ACN. That doesn't define who I am. I am that, right? But I am purposeful in the position that I'm at. And I can absolutely tell you, I am in the preparing stages of, being prepared in this process, because just like Mr. Al Thomas and myself, we have never all had it perfect in this business. See, I think people get to the door of their destiny and they give up. Why? Because they feel like maybe this isn't where I'm supposed to be. See, when you think about a tree, you have to plant the seed for an oak tree, right? To get to where it is. So you got to plant the seed. But most of the things, and many of you as leaders, you know that all the work is done underground before that tree even comes up. There's so much work underground that has to be happening. And so, when it comes out of the ground, what do you got? You got branches. You have a little tree stump. It doesn't grow into this beautiful oak or whatever kind of tree it looks like. So much work and preparation in the process has happened underground. So I want you to look at your life right now, and what do you think, all the things that you're going through today, what is it that's going on? He is preparing you in this process because he has to know that he can trust that tree is going to have a foundation, right? You have to water it. You have to fertilize it. You have to give it time to become that beautiful oak tree. And that's what the process of our life is like. I look at myself as I'm becoming that beautiful oak tree at some point where, when you get to that, think about a fruit tree, think about an apple tree or an orange tree. When does it actually bear fruit? And when it bears fruit, are you done? Is that tree done? No, dead fruit falls off. You have to prune the branches. Unfortunately, some of that doesn't feel so good sometimes, right? There's some of the fruit falls onto the ground and the birds eat it. Correct. And so there's a lot of things that happen. So picture yourself as that fruit. But when you have bared that fruit, are you done? No, you got to develop more fruit. You got to continue to bear more fruit all your life. So there is always that process of going from through the seasons. If you look at seasons, fruit trees lose all their leaves and all their fruit, and they got to start over, and still continue to get fertilized, right? And water. When a tree doesn't get watered, it tends to get, the roots start to die off, right? So what does that look like in your life being watered? So I'm going to go again back into my past, and I want you to look at your past and see what God was putting you through those times to create where you are today and for your actual destiny. Because when I look back as a kid, I grew up in an amazing family, but I had two brothers that really tested my my patience. I was the little one of the two older brothers. The big one would beat on the second one, and then I would get the brunt of it at best. So that's what made me tough. That's what built my resiliency. So I can't say that I regret being the baby of the family and being the one that was up. My brother, I'm just going to tell you, he was obnoxious. He even chased me around the house with a knife. But what did that teach me? It taught me how to get out of the way fast. So I look at, he was just being a teenager, and I was 4 years younger than him. At one point in my life, I was 11 and he was 15, and I beat him at arm wrestling and sent him to his room crying because he built my strength. So I'm clear today that the things that I've gone through, I can't regret. I can't say, oh gosh, my brothers were mean to me, and this is who I am today. I'm not doing so well because of. No, we get to choose how we venture through our life. And so then I get into high school years, and I make a choice of having a boyfriend at a very young age. And the bottom line is I got pregnant at 18, had my daughter at 19. Married young, and can I say, well, that was a regret? No, I would not change the daughter and the family that I have. Was it easy? No, it was tough, but it was the process that I went through, and it prepared me to be the grandmother I am today and the woman I am today, and to be able to help younger women. See, I know my purpose is to help younger women as well to get through life in those stages. See, I didn't know that back then, but I know that today. Okay. So that's one of the challenges. And then, you fast forward a few years, and, my husband and I at the time, my high school sweetheart, unfortunately, you look back and hindsight's 2020, but we just weren't making it together in life. And we got divorced. So I was only a few years in that process. He was a part of his daughter's life, but unfortunately it came to a tragic death at the age of 26, and his daughter was not only 5 years old. Could I say, oh my goodness, could I live in regret and say, it's my fault? What if I didn't divorce him? Would he still be here today? Could I do that? Yes, I could do that, but that's not my purpose to take on. See, I think a lot of us live in regret, and we live in, that was my fault, and we pile all this stuff on our shoulders, and we're not really understanding the process of our purpose. Now, I'm not saying that people die for our purpose. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying how I took the reaction and how I moved forward. I became a single mom. I was 8 years as a single mom. I worked for my dad. Now in that process, I was working for my dad. He's an architect in architecture. Okay. So, but what he did is it was not my passion to be his office manager, but it was the time in my life that I needed to work, right? I was working as a bank. He was going to pay me very well to run his books, run his office. He's a businessman. Guess what I got to do? I got to learn and soak up so much business that I didn't even know that it was going to be what it was going to happen to me later on in life when I needed it. But it was at a time when I needed it in a different way. I needed it financially. I really wanted to be a hairdresser. My dad was able to see that passion in me. I was not one who wanted to go to college. That was just who I was. And he could have said, well, I'm not going to help her, because he really wanted me to go to college. They were both, my mom and him both went to college, right? So, but I embraced something different. And then he actually helped me. I worked as much as I could and went to cosmetology school. So I can tell you that purpose that I had back then of running his office and learning business, was totally fast forwarded me into where I was with Tony when I met him years and years later, okay? But it helped me get through the times of being a single mom, all those different things. And then I launched my own hair salon, right? So think about this in your life. What has all this brought you to today? Oh, your beautiful daughter. I love it. Your purpose. Hi. So, traveling through life, what have you actually taken from your life and applied today that you didn't realize back then was truly getting you to your purpose? I believe we have more than one purpose in life. So, I was in the fashion world for many years, and then I shifted into being an office manager for 10 years with my dad. And then I shifted in being an office manager. So you fast forward and meet my husband. I launched my salon. I had to, now I'm owning my own business, right? So that business took me into the salon world, and I was able to run a successful business and be a single mom at the time, raising my daughter, making the money I needed to make. God was continuing to prepare me into the process, right? I was in that process, but I was enjoying the journey. So how many of you, when you get to hard times, do you stop enjoying the journey and know that you have a purpose in that moment? Like sometimes you're positioned in a place for someone else. Like, I know today that there's a lot of things that I do today that I'm supposed to help someone else. Like maybe one of you on this line, this message will help you understand the place that you're at is maybe you're supposed to be there, not for you, but for someone else, that you're supposed to impact someone else with something that you had to say, or a story you had, or a life happening that happened to you that somebody else needed to hear. I know people stay in jobs for longer than they really want to, but there might be a purpose for that. And there probably is a 100% purpose for that while they're building their side gig. Maybe some of you have jobs and careers right now and you're building ACN. There's a purpose that you have both of those. And you can actually play off both of those if you understand that piece. Because I didn't stop hairdressing and stop the construction company when I saw ACN. See, there was a purpose and a time for everything, and it transitioned. I just didn't give, again, you get to the door of destiny, whatever that looks like. That could be 1 year, 2 years, 10 years from now, 11 years from now, whatever that destiny looks like to you in your vision. And you miss it because you feel like, I'm not getting anywhere right now. I'm spinning my wheels. I'm not making the money that I thought I would make. And you just, maybe this isn't the place I'm supposed to be. No, you're getting tested. I can tell you 100%, my journey in ACN has not been perfect. Mr. Thomas's journey in ACN has not been perfect. We've just been consistent. We've been consistent, and we know exactly where we're going. And we never give up because we know our purpose is here, and we know the greater is ahead. And we also know where we're at. We're going to be making an impact where we're at. So you have to make sure. When I was running the hair salon, and we have crazy life business happening in Driskill construction because we lost everything, and we start ACN, that could be a crazy place. And at some point when the money isn't flowing like it did in the beginning for us, because we were a fast start, we could have looked at it and said, well, ACN's all washed up because I'm not making money. No, it's me. I need to grow. I'm positioned to grow. See, we go back to that tree. It needs more water. That's what these leaderships are for. You have the incredible Mr. Al Thomas that I have so much respect for every single day of the week, bringing you someone or himself to the table to help you be fed and grow so you will produce that fruit. Everybody's tree grows at a different rate of time. Is that fair? Yes, because it's just depending on where you are in that growth process. See, I even see people in ACN, and this is just my personal opinion, not ACN's opinion, not Mr. Thomas's opinion. It's my opinion that there's some major people in our business, and I've experienced it personally myself about 4 years ago, that have had huge successes right out of the gate, And then when it got tough, they quit. And why? Because they didn't understand business. They didn't understand the power of life and the purpose of life and understanding the growth of a tree. Because many of those people thought it was their talent. See, ego will edge God out every time. That's what it stands for. And so when they get to a place where it gets tough, they'll make up excuses like, oh, this isn't good for my people. And this is just me personally. This is just, I prayed over it. I've talked to the Lord about this. And it's like, they think, oh, well, my people aren't making money. I made money, but my people aren't making money. Why are you, I've told you last week, you're not responsible for people. You're responsible to them to teach them the system, right? And so then, whatever that looks like, I just know that the decisions that people make at an upper echelon position can impact people in the lower positions thinking, why? Why is it this? Is it that? Stop thinking why. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing, because in my opinion, they may, I'm going to just say it. I don't believe it's the right decision, because in network marketing, it's longevity equals credibility. And just because you had success, Mr. Thomas is an absolute icon in this industry and in this company. And it is because his longevity has created that credibility. And I know my 11 years is credibility, but it's not enough yet. I can give you a story. We hit ETT, that position we had before, in 24 hours. And then we hit ETL in 17 days. And then we hit team coordinator, which is regional director today, in less than 120 days in business. Then regional director at the time, which is harder to get to. We hit that in 18 months. And then regional vice president, 2.5 years. Could I, when the times got tough after that, say, oh, it's the company? No, I could, but I didn't. Why? Because I understand business. So I'm going to give you a business conversation. I know my purpose. When I learned business with my dad and he went through tough times, he didn't blame anybody else, but working on himself to bring the value. I've had conversations with you about value of who you are, who you're being, no matter where you are in your career and in your business, and understanding your purpose in the process. Okay. And so when someone gives up at a little time and they don't understand the power of the businesses do this. The great thing about this company is it doesn't do this and this like traditional business, or when an economy shifts. It does this. There's an ebb and flow of business, and you have to understand there's a downtime. But I also know that God takes us in a downtime to see if he could trust us. See, I look at it as see if he could trust me with his people. Because when someone leaves and they start trying to recruit your team and they start calling you, and I am so strong in my belief of ACN and who I am, they know not to call me. They know not to call me because I'm not going anywhere. This is my home. You've heard me say that. What do you say? What do you speak life into? Because I understand business, and I actually have those conversations with those people. See, my upline leaders, regional vice presidents and senior vice presidents, they left the company. They had huge success out at the beginning, made millions. ACN created who they became, and they still walked away and I believe made the wrong I know they made the wrong choice, because when you're starting to take people from other people, you're not making the right choice. When you're starting to cross recruit people from the company you came from that fed you, that's not the right thing to do. Not the right thing to do. If you can build it, if you built it back then and it's all about you, that you had the talent, it wasn't anything that ACN had anything to do, then you can build it on your own over there without taking people because this is my family. My family is here. I walk away from my family and I crush them. That just doesn't make sense. That's not my purpose. That's not why God took me through all those things in my life to hurt other people. If you're hurting other people in your process, you're not in the right place. You haven't made the right decision. I hope this makes sense. Am I helping anybody here? Because I want you to understand your responsibility as a leader. Your responsibility as a leader in this company is to live at your highest integrity. If you want to be the leader that people want to follow and have, I know the only reason I'm on this leadership call is Mr. Thomas knows he can trust me. And that is one of the greatest gifts that anybody can have in leadership role, is that when somebody invites you to be on a call, because think about it, you could have other people on your call and then 1 year from now they leave and then they start taking the people that they just trained on your team, right? That's not what we're about here. We need to make network marketing. We need to continue to show. I know ACN has a longevity of some amazing leaders. There's a lot of leaders in this company that have been over 20 years of experience that lead the charge here and to help develop us. I want you to be that person. I want you to join us in that place where you create longevity so your credibility can be shown on a call like this. So I'm just gonna continue to instill into you guys is where you are, you have a purpose. And you needed, I hope all of you wrote down, I am whatever. I am whatever. Not I am an executive team leader. I am. Who are you? And who are you bringing to the table in that value I talked about before in one of my other trainings? And also knowing that you're that tree that needs to be fed on a daily basis. Because biblically, when your cup is filled up, you can overflow onto other people. When your cup is depleted and you're not getting fed and you're not getting nutrition, you're not going to bear fruit in the spring and in the summer. You're not going to bloom like a flower. You're going to be all wilted because you're not feeding. So the best thing you can do where you're at, because ACN has the most amazing training in place, is to be a part of the training. I tell people when I'm in front of a room, I'm a student and I'm a teacher. I'm never one or the other. I'm always both in every place I go because there's something I can learn. It is my next elevation. You got to elevate. See, I can tell you right here, one of the things I wrote down is I'm prepared. I am prepared for you guys today, but I will only meet the expectation that you have. So we have to elevate our expectation. There's a nugget in what I'm saying for all of you to prepare you for the next step in your career in ACN, to prepare you for that leadership role. What are you doing in your career over here? Are you being the best in your job and your career over here? Or are you just getting by? Because if you just get by, you're not doing what you need to do for your business over here. Be your best wherever you are. Be conscious. When you're aware of who you're being, like awareness is everything. Once you're aware, if there's something that's not right, you'll be aware of it and you'll be able to change it. If you're not aware of it, you can't change it. So again, I don't go back to my past to say, oh, I wish I could have done this differently. No, I am who I am today because of what I've been through. Right? And then when Tony and I came together in the construction industry, I had the business background. I could go into his office. I was also mentored by my mother, who's an interior and landscape designer. So I did that for his business. What value did I learn over here that I brought into our business that we created together 22 years ago, a multi-million-dollar company? The two of us together. See, I know, God's choice of my spouse was perfectly designed. I didn't make a lot of good choices along the way because they were my choices. I let him make this choice, right? So we have to really look at our will compared to, again, this is my God conversation, to his will, because his will is perfect in my eyes. And I know what my life has been able to come through today, through losing everything in our construction company, all our retirement, everything. But guess what? ACN was planted in our life by prayer. I knew that. You hear me say that. Many of you have heard me say this message over and over and over again. So why would I ever leave? It was a prayer answered. It's my purpose. I can do so many things because of ACN. I'm a book author because I know the people he surrounded me with here elevated me to believe in myself before I did, because they believed in me. And it brought the dreams and the goals and the visions alive that God's always purposed for me, right? But that doesn't mean I would leave ACN because now I have a new purpose. No, I would never leave ACN, because this is what's created me to be who I am and elevate me in a different level. I will soon be a senior vice president. I will be a circle of champions. I am a senior vice president. I am a circle of champions. That's just a title, but what does that mean? It means I have really grown to bear fruit. I have created teams and teams of people that are winning, that are excelling, that are loving who they are, that are being developed. That shows that that's what I'm being and doing for other people to get to those positions. That doesn't define me of who I am. It's what that means. I hope that makes sense to everybody. So continue to write down the I am this, and I want you to put it somewhere. So I can tell you part of my book, how my book starts is, I am the queen of the kingdom of entrepreneurs. Okay, that's how my book is starting. Wait till it's going to be incredible. God is just putting all this stuff in me. But what I want you to do is, I want you to look at that every day, and I want you to own it. And I want you to continue to write more things down about who you are as a parent, as a spouse, as a grandparent, as a son, as a daughter, as a leader, as a 360-degree leader. How are you bleeding off? Up, side, down. Because when you can do that 360 degrees, you're going to see a lot of things change. And when you can stay focused and positioned in purpose, where you are 100% positioned in your purpose here in ACN. You will be so much more than you can possibly imagine when you're feeding yourself and you're understanding how a tree grows, or the iceberg, right? You guys all know the iceberg analogy. It's all done underneath the water, right? And you're going to be, I like the tree better with the fruit for some reason. And don't let that snake come down and tempt you on anything, right? Take that slay, so Wonder Woman or Superman or whatever, slay that snake and get rid of it, and continue to grow and blossom and become that fruit that you were created to, bearing the fruit and developing more fruit on your tree and being a tree that lasts forever, right? There's trees. I mean, when we went to Paso Robles, Mr. Thomas, and we stayed at this a couple weeks ago, wine country. We stayed at this resort. There was a tree stump. I have a picture of it that you know how a tree has all these lines of years, and it went all the way back to when Christ was born, when he came into the world. And it was even before when he came into the world, that tree. So I want you to see yourself being that tree, one tree, not multiple trees, that over time you are changing generations. You are that person who has that butterfly effect, but you are that tree stump that will be there, foundation with roots that are so strong that it will take generations for it to ever come down and stop producing fruit. Because that fruit has a seed, and that seed will plant another tree in the ground next to you and grow another tree. Just keep thinking about that and producing. So with that being said, you guys, just know your position in purpose, and you are being prepared in the process. And I am 100% grateful to be here with you guys today to share this information. I hope it's helped. I hope it helped you, any of you or one of you. I'm only here sometimes for one person. Awesome. So with that being said, Mr. Thomas, again, thank you so much.
Thank you, dear. I know you're in the wine country, enjoying some good wine up there. We want to thank you. Miss Zoe said, wow, wow, wow. I got my notes here. And I mean, that was amazing, knowing your purpose, who am I? Start speaking life over yourself. Folks, are you guys getting this? Most people get to the door and wow, they just stop and they give up.
Ignore their
Wow.
destiny. They detour and walk away.
Their destiny, and you must bear fruit your whole life. Wow, that is amazing. So folks, I want to thank Ms. Jocelyn. Can we give her one more hand? Come on, let's show her some love. Let's show her some love. Let's show her some love. I know Miss Ismail's listening in. Can we all keep her in prayer? Her grandmother passed away the other day. And it's something we all need to keep in prayer because, we all go that way one way or another. And we want to thank her for being who she is. We also want to give a shout out to Mr. Bree Clemens because he always comes through with everything so greatly for us. And also we got a couple of regional directors got on here just a hair late, Mr. Chris King and Ms. Rose Guerrero. Thank you so much. Ms. Evelyn Phibbs out in Fresno. Thank you so much. Regional Director, Ms. Darlene Evans in South Carolina. Thank you so much. And Mr. Herrera, thank you so much. I see you stuck on there as well, sir, to be listening to your upline RVP. So thank you all. Tomorrow morning, we'll be back with David Lowe, #1 RD in all of ACN out of Minnesota. Went up there twice to do meetings for him. And oh my God, he was on the corporate Zoom call last week and he's popped two or three RDs in his organization, put 100 IBOs in last month. And we're going to be talking about that tomorrow and the thanks and how he's doing what he's doing. So tomorrow morning, we got David Lowe. On Tuesday. On Wednesday, we got a surprise speaker. Thursday, we got the great Mr. Dean Torelli. And Friday, we'll follow up Friday with Mr. Nelson. So, and then Friday night, happy hour. Man, we had a great time on happy hour this past Friday. We had a little tribute game going last Friday night. It was a lot of fun.
I can't believe I missed it. I don't like missing it.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Look at the lady in Japan. She goes, yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a tribute game. It was a lot of fun. Well, we'll be having some fun stuff on to come. But right now, we want to thank everybody. It's a Monday, brand new week. I challenge everybody. Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. I challenge everybody this week. Get minimum one IBO in. Come on, or 3 services. Come on. Everybody can do that. So God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock a.m. Pacific Coast time. Thank you again. And one more time, can we show Ms. Jocelyn Driskill how much love we need to give her because she took off time. She's up in wine country. She could be going out right now and getting that special first customer wine thing on a Monday. But thank her for being on the call today. God bless you, Ms. Jocelyn Driskill.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Be safe. Travel safe, Ms. Driskill. Thank you. God bless. Bye, everybody.